Welcome to Brilliant Girl. Today, we explore the captivating story of a woman who built her own house. The 35-year-old woman built a house in the forest using bricks, cement, and a corrugated iron roof, a long journey lasting 1 hour 53 minutes and 8 seconds. Morning mist hangs quietly between tall trees. The forest offers a calm place to begin work. Tools are placed gently on the soil. Careful preparation improves safety. Dry leaves crunch softly under slow steps. A flat area is chosen for stability. Clear water pours into dry cement. Correct ratios ensure strong water. A shovel mixes sand and cement steadily. Even mixing prevents weak joints. The first brick settles into fresh mortar. This base row defines alignment. Each brick is pressed gently into place. Consistent spacing improves strength. Excess mortar is scraped away carefully. Clean joints protect against moisture. Forest sounds blend with steady hand movements. A slow pace supports accuracy. Sunlight shifts as the wall begins to rise. Patience guides every step. Mortar lines are smooth with calm motions. Smooth joints resist rain. Tools rest briefly beside a tree. Short pauses allow the mortar to settle. Another small batch of mortar is prepared. Fresh mix maintains consistent strength. Bricks are stacked within easy reach. Good organization saves energy. The sound of brick meeting mortar repeats. Softly ... repetition builds steady progress. A simple level checks the wall edge. Early checks prevent future errors. Loose soil is brushed from the foundation. A clean base reduces moisture build-up. The wall begins to shape the shelter. Each layer brings the home closer to completion. 21. 0 hours 6 minutes and 7 seconds, 0,006 to 11,000. A quiet pause lets the mortar breathe. Resting between layers improves durability. Bird calls echo softly through the clearing. Natural sounds help maintain focus. Another row of bricks is aligned by hand. Straight courses distribute weight evenly. Excess mortar drops gently to the soil. Cleaning as you go keeps the site safe. Sunlight warms the fresh brick surface. Gentle heat supports curing. Hand smooth the joints with care. Smooth finishes resist moisture. Tools are rinsed briefly in clean water. Clean tools work more precisely. Fresh mortar is mixed in small batches. Small batches prevent waste. Bricks rise row by row in steady rhythm. Consistency builds durability. The wall reaches knee height. Progress becomes visible. A simple level checks alignment again. Frequent checks avoid corrections later. Loose debris is cleared from the base. A clean workspace improves safety. Mortar texture is adjusted slightly. Copper mix ensures strong bonding. Bricks are rotated to keep edges true. Uniform placement strengthens the wall. Hands pause as the mortar sets. Patience protects alignment. Work resumes with slow, even movements. A calm pace reduces mistakes. Corners receive extra mortar. Reinforced corners support the structure. Excess material is wiped away early. Early cleaning saves effort later. Forest air flows through the clearing. Fresh air keeps the body cool. Another lay begins quietly. Steady repetition builds confidence. The wall now reaches mid-thigh. Height increases gradually. Joints are smoothed with a damp cloth. Moist finishing prevents cracks. Tools rest briefly beside a tree. Order keeps the site calm. Fresh mortar is prepared again. Consistency maintains strength. Bricks are placed with measured spacing. Even gaps improve load balance. A gentle tap seats each brick. Lightness protects the edges. Sunlight shifts as the day moves on. Time passes slowly during careful work. Another level check confirms straight lines. Accuracy now prevents future issues. Loose sand is brushed from the wall face. Clean surfaces bond better. Hands rest briefly to ease strain. Short breaks preserve energy. Work resumes with steady breathing. Controlled breathing supports endurance. Bricks approach waist height. The shell toe shape becomes clearer. Mortar lines are refined carefully. Clean joints resist weathering. Tools are wiped before reuse. Clean tools improve precision. Another small batch is mixed. Fresh mortar ensures reliability. Bricks are staggered for strength. Staggering locks the courses together. Excess mortar is collected neatly. Tidiness improves safety. Forest sounds return during a pause. Nature sets a gentle rhythm. The wall reaches near waist height. Progress feels steady. A level confirms the wall remains plumb. Vertical accuracy supports upper loads. Loose debris is cleared again. A clean site reduces hazards. Mortar texture is checked once more. Correct consistency prevents weak joints. Bricks are aligned with careful siting. Straight lines define the structure. Hands slow as fatigue appears. Listening to the body prevents injury. A longer pause allows recovery. Rest supports sustainable work. Work continues at a gentler pace. Gentle pacing maintains quality. Corners are checked again for square. Square corners is later framing. Mortar fills small gaps along the joints. Sealing blocks moisture and insects. The wall now reaches chest height. The space begins to feel enclosed. A cloth smooths the final joints of this section. Smooth finish lasts longer. Tools are set aside for inspection. Inspection confirms solid work. The structure stands quietly among trees. Progress feels calm and steady. Fresh mortar is mixed for the next stage. Preparation keeps momentum. Bricks are stacked for easy reach. Organisation saves effort. Hands begin the next course slowly. Careful start set the tone. Mortar spreads evenly beneath each brick. Even beds improve strength. A gentle tap aligns the course. Alignment prevents leaning walls. Forest light shifts across the bricks. Changing light reveals imperfections. Small adjustments correct the line. Early fixes save time. The wall rises steadily again. Progress continues without rush. Mortar is smooth before it sets. Timing is important for clean joints. Tools are rinsed and placed neatly. Order maintains safety. Hands rest briefly against the wall. The structure feels firm. Another pause allows curing. Patience improves durability. Work resumes with renewed focus. Focus improves precision. Bricks approach shoulder height. The shelter shape becomes clear. Corners are reinforced once more. Strong corners stabilize the walls. Excess mortar is removed promptly. Clean lines resist weather. Forest sounds deepen as time passes. Work blends with nature. A level confirms consistent courses. Consistency builds confidence. Mortar consistency is checked again. Reliable mix ensures longevity. Bricks are placed with practiced hands. Experience shows in movement. The wall nears its planned height. Completion feels closer. Hands slow to maintain accuracy. Accuracy prevents rework. Final joints of this section are smoothed. Finishing touches protect the wall. Tools are set down gently. Calm replaces effort. A quiet pause fills the clearing. Stillness marks progress. The wall stands firm and even. Strength is visible. Preparation begins for the next phase. Building continues step by step. The journey moves forward calmly. Each careful action shapes the home. A calm pause lets the mortar settle further. Stillness improves bonding strength. Forest air moves gently across the wall. Natural airflow aids curing. Hands prepare another small batch of mortar. Fresh mix ensures consistency. Bricks are aligned carefully at eye level. Higher courses require extra focus. A soft tap brings each brick into line. Controlled force prevents shifting. Excess mortar is cleaned before it hardens. Clean work saves time later. Birdsong marks a short rest. Nature sets the rhythm of work. A level confirms the wall remains straight. Accuracy supports the roof structure. Another course begins slowly. Slow starts prevent mistakes. Hands move with practice confidence. Experience guides each motion. Mortar joints are smooth with care. Smooth joints resist rain. Tools are wiped and placed aside briefly. Order keeps the site safe. Fresh mortar is mixed again. Consistency maintains strength. Bricks approach shoulder height. The space feels more enclosed. Sunlight reveals the wall texture. Light helps spot imperfections. A pause allows the wall to firm. Patience protects alignment. Loose debris is cleared from below. A clean base improves safety. Work resumes with steady breathing. Calm breathing supports endurance. Corners are checked carefully to square. Square corners ease framing later. Bricks are staggered for strength. Staggering locks the structure. 121. 036 to 39,000. 036 to 43,000. A damp cloth refines the mortar joints. Moist finishing prevents early cracks. Forest sounds deepen as time passes. Work blends calmly with nature. Another level check confirms accuracy. Small checks avoid big errors. Mortar thickness is adjusted slightly. Even beds support durability. Hands rest briefly to ease tension. Short breaks protect joints. Work continues at a calm pace. Calm pacing preserves quality. The wall nears its planned height. Completion feels closer. Final joints of this section are smoothed. Finishing touches seal the work. Tools are set down gently. Quiet replaces effort. A longer pause fills the clearing. Stillness marks steady progress. The wall stands firm and even. Strength is visible in silence. Preparation begins for the next phase. Roof planning comes next. Wooden beams are measured on the ground. Accurate cuts prevent waste. Hands mark beam positions carefully. Clear markings guide assembly. A saw moves slowly through the timber. Controlled cuts keep edges straight. Fresh wood set fills the air. Clean cuts improve joint fit. Beams are lifted into position carefully. Balance lifting prevents accidents. Wood rests quietly atop the walls. Even placement stabilizes the frame. Fasteners are prepared within reach. Preparation saves energy. A hammer strikes with a muted rhythm, even for secures the joint. The forest echoes softly with each strike. Natural sounds slow the pace. Each connection is checked by hand. Manual checks confirm stability. Hands pause between fastenings. Short rests maintain precision. More beams are aligned along the span. Uniform spacing supports the roof. Wood fibers creak slightly under pressure. Natural sounds guide adjustments. A level checks the beam line. Straight beams protect the roof. Minor adjustments are made quietly. Small fixes prevent future problems. Tools are set aside in order. Clear space improves safety. Corrugated metal sheets are placed nearby. Dry storage prevents rust. The next stage begins with calm focus. Each step moves the home forward. 151. 045 to 49,000. 045 to 53,000. Hands lift the first metal sheet carefully. Light handling protects sharp edges. Metal meets wood with a hollow tone. Proper overlap channels rain away. The sheet is aligned along the beam. Straight placement ensures clean drainage. Fasteners are driven in slowly. Controlled speed prevents warping. Metal vibrates softly with each strike. Gentle force avoids deformation. Spacing is checked before fixing the next point. Even spacing improves wind resistance. Another sheet is lifted and overlapped. Overlap strengthens weather protection. Edges are pressed firmly into alignment. Firm edges reduce noise and wind. Fasteners secure the second sheet. Balance fixing distributes stress. The roof begins to take shape quietly. Shelter grows with steady care. Hands wipe away fine metal dust. Clean surfaces last longer. A short pause lets the frame settle. Stillness confirms balance. More sheets are positioned in sequence. Working in order prevents gaps. The sound of fastening repeats steadily. Repetition builds confidence. Light wind moves across the roof surface. Airflow tests stability naturally. Edges are checked for sharp points. Safe edges prevent injury. Hands slow as the roof nears completion. Care increases near the end. Final sheets are aligned with precision. Accuracy ensures long-term protection. Fasteners are tightened one last time. Final checks secure the roof. The roof reflects soft daylight. Covering is now complete. set aside to rest, completion invites calm. A slow walk inspects the roof edges. Inspection confirms solid work. Forest sounds return to the foreground. Nature and shelter coexist. Cool air flows beneath the new roof. Shade improves interior comfort. Loose debris is swept from the floor. A clean interior improves safety. Hand smooth rough spots along the wall. Even surfaces reduce maintenance. Openings are measured for simple doors. Accurate sizing eases installation. Wooden boards are checked for dryness. Drywood prevents warping. A saw cuts slowly through timber. Control cuts keep edges straight. Freshwood scent fills the space. Clean cuts improve joint fit. Boards are test fitted to the opening. Careful fitting prevents gaps. A gentle tap seats the frame. Lightness avoids cracking. Fasteners are driven evenly. Balance fixing keeps frame square. Alignment is checked once more. Repeated checks prevent rework. Small gaps are filled with mortar. Sealing improves insulation. A damp cloth smooths filled edges. Smooth edges resist moisture. Soft footsteps echo inside the shelter. The space begins to feel lived in. Air moves gently through the doorway. Ventilation keeps the interior dry. Tools are gathered and set aside. Order keeps the space calm. A short rest allows materials to settle. Rest improves durability. Light patterns move across the floor. Natural light reveals uneven spots. Minor adjustments are made quietly. Small fixes prevent larger issues. The interior walls feel cool and solid. Brick holds temperature well. A broom clears the floor again. Clean floors improve comfort. Forest sounds drift gently inside. The house blends with nature. Hands rest briefly against the wall. The structure feels strong. Time slows inside the finished shelter. Stillness marks progress. The doorway frames the forest view. Simple design connects inside and out. Tools are stored neatly outside. Clearing space improves flow. A quiet pause fills the completed room. Calm replaces effort. 201. 1 hour 1 minute and 5 seconds. 0. 1 hour 1 minute and 9 seconds. 0. Cool shade settles evenly beneath the roof. The interior stays comfortable without effort. Hands trace the brick surface slowly. Texture reflects careful craftsmanship. Light enters softly through the doorway. Natural brightness reduces the need for lamps. A short pause allows quiet observation. Seeing clearly guides small decisions. Wooden supports are checked for firmness. Solid supports protect the roof structure. Hands tighten a loose fastener gently. Small adjustments maintain safety. Forest air flows steadily through the space. Ventilation keeps moisture away. Tools rest quietly against the wall. Silence replaces construction noise. The floor is swept one final time. Clean space improves daily comfort. Soft footsteps echo briefly inside. The room feels calm and balanced. Hands check the door frame edges. Smooth edges prevent future wear. A cloth wipes away remaining dust. Simple care preserves materials. Light shifts as clouds pass overhead. The space responds gently to weather. The roof blocks direct sunlight effectively. Shade keeps the interior cool. Hands rest briefly on the doorway. The structure feels secure. Forest sounds soften inside the shelter. Walls filter noise naturally. A slow breath fills the quiet room. Effort gives way to calm. No further tools are needed today. Work pauses naturally. The house stands steady among trees. It blends gently with the surroundings. Time passes quietly inside the shelter. Stillness feels earned. Light reflects softly off brick walls. Warm tones create comfort. The doorway frames moving leaves outside. Nature remains close. Hands lower as the workday ends. Rest becomes necessary. The interior remains cool and calm. Design supports simple living. No sound interrupts the quiet space. He settles naturally. The roof shields the home from wind. Protection feels complete. Walls hold steady against changing light. Strength shows in stillness. A final look confirms the work. Everything rests in place. The forest accepts the new shelter. Balance remains undisturbed. Calm fills the finished home. The long journey continues quietly. Soft light settles across the interior walls. The space feels calm and balanced. A gentle breeze passes through the doorway. Fresh air keeps the room dry. Hands rest quietly at the wall's edge. The brick surface feels cool. Forest sounds drift in without effort. The house remains connected to nature. Light shifts slowly across the floor. Time moves gently inside. The roof blocks harsh sunlight above. Shade improves daily comfort. No tools disturb the quiet anymore. Work has fully paused. The doorway frames a peaceful forest view. Simplicity defines the space. Cool air remains steady inside. Brick walls regulate temperature well. A slow breath fills the room. Calm replaces effort. Shadows stretch gently along the walls. Evening approaches quietly. The interior remains clean and uncluttered. Minimal space supports focus. Forest insects hum softly outside. Natural rhythms continue. Hands rest as nothing needs fixing. Completion feels certain. The structure stands firm without sound. Strength shows through stillness. Light fades gently toward dusk. The day closes calmly. The roof holds steady above. Shelter feels reliable. The forest darkens beyond the doorway. Night approaches slowly. Inside, the space remains peaceful. The house feels settled. A quiet pause fills the finished home. Silence feels comfortable. 251. 116 to 20,000. 116 to 24,000. Night air cools the interior gently. Brick walls release stored warmth slowly. Forest sounds deepen after sunset. The shelter remains quietly protected. The doorway frames fading daylight. Evening settles without rush. Soft shadows stretch along the walls. Low light softens the space. The roof blocks cool night moisture. Shelter proves its purpose. A gentle breeze moves through the opening. Natural ventilation keeps air fresh. No movement disturbs the structure. Stillness confirms stability. The forest hums quietly outside. Life continues beyond the walls. Interior temperature remains steady. Brick balances heat and cool. Time passes slowly inside the shelter. Calm replaces effort. The doorway remains open to the night. Connection to nature stays intact. Soft darkness fills the corners. The space feels safe and enclosed. The roof holds firm against quiet wind. Protection feels reliable. Forest insects create a steady rhythm. Natural sound replaces silence. Inside, nothing needs adjustment. The bill feels complete. The walls stand unmoving and solid. Strength shows through stillness. Cool air settles near the fall. Comfort remains without effort. The doorway frames moonlit leaves. Night light enters softly. The shelter blends into forest darkness. Respect for nature remains. Time continues without urgency. The work no longer demands attention. The roof keeps the interior dry and calm. Function meets simplicity. The walls hold their quiet presence. Balance defines the space. Forest air moves gently inside. Ventilation stays natural. No tools remain in sight. Work has fully ended. The interior feels settled and complete. Nothing more is required. Night deepens outside the shelter. The house remains steady. Soft darkness rests on brick walls. Calm fills the space. The roof absorbs distant forest sounds. Noise fades naturally. The structure stands without movement. Strength is unquestioned. Time continues in gentle silence. Peace becomes familiar. Cool air flows evenly inside. Comfort remains consistent. The doorway stays open and calm. Nature is always welcome. No sound interrupts the stillness. The home rests fully. Brick walls reflect faint night light. Subtle textures remain visible. The forest quiets even more. Night reaches its depth. Inside, the space remains unchanged. Stability defines the shelter. The roof stands firm above. Protection feels complete. Time passes without effort. Nothing needs attention. The house exists quietly in the forest. Harmony remains intact. Soft air brushes the doorway. Night breathes gently. The interior stays calm and cool. Brick performs its role well. No changes occur within the space. Completion feels absolute. Forest sounds fade into the background. Silence becomes dominant. The shelter remains still and secure. Confidence settles in. Night air moves softly through leaves. Nature remains active. Inside, the space stays unchanged. Simplicity holds strong. The roof and walls work together. Design meets function. Nothing disturbs the quiet interior. Rest feels complete. The house stands calmly through the night. Strength remains constant. Time continues without interruption. Peace becomes normal. Cool air settles evenly again. Comfort remains steady. The doorway frames darkness and trees. Nature stays close. No effort is required anymore. The work is truly finished. The shelter rests in quiet balance. Harmony defines the build. Forest life continues softly outside. The house listens in silence. Brick walls remain cool to the touch. Material choice proves wise. The roof stands against the night air. Protection remains constant. Inside, nothing changes. Completion feels final. The space holds steady through time. Strength needs no movement. Night deepens beyond the doorway. The home stays calm. Air flows gently once more. Ventilation remains natural. Silence settles fully inside. Peace fills the shelter. The structure stands without sound. Stability is complete. Nothing draws attention anymore. The journey has slowed. Forest darkness surrounds the home. The shelter belongs here. The interior remains unchanged. Balance holds firm. Time moves quietly toward dawn. Rest continues. The roof and walls remain steady. Protection does not fade. No sound breaks the calm. Silence feels natural. The house stands patiently. Strength waits without effort. Night air cools the space evenly. Comfort remains balanced. The doorway still welcomes the forest. Connection endures. Nothing needs to be done. The work is complete. The shelter rests in quiet confidence, purpose has been fulfilled. Forest sounds return faintly, life continues gently. Brick and roof remain unchanged. Durability shows through time. The interior stays calm and cool. Design supports rest. The house stands ready for living. Shelter has meaning. Time flows quietly onward. Nothing interrupts the calm. The forest accepts the home fully. Balance is restored. The structure remains still. Strength needs no sound. Night holds the shelter gently. Rest continues. The interior remains peaceful. Completion feels permanent. The roof protects without effort. Function is proven. The house rests quietly in darkness. Calm defines the space. Nothing changes inside the shelter. Stillness is enough. Forest air moves gently again. Nature remains present. The structure stands in full balance. Every part holds its role. The interior stays cool and calm. Comfort remains natural. Time passes without notice. Peace feels complete. The house remains unchanged. Strength does not fade. Forest silence deepens again. Night continues. The shelter rests in quiet harmony. Purpose is fulfilled. Nothing calls for attention. The build is complete. Soft light hints at early morning. A new day approaches quietly. Cool air moves gently inside. The shelter breathes again. Morning birds sound in the distance. Life returns to the forest. Light touches the brick walls softly. The home greets a new day. Nothing has shifted overnight. The structure remains strong. The roof holds steady above. Protection feels complete. Fresh air fills the shelter. Morning calm replaces night stillness. The house stands peacefully among trees. It belongs to this place. Soft light spreads across the floor. Warmth returns gently. A quiet pause marks the finished journey. Effort has turned into shelter. Nothing more needs to be built. The work is complete. The forest accepts the home in silence. Balance remains. Time slows inside the finished house. Calm becomes permanent. The space feels ready for living. Strength meets simplicity. Every brick rests in its place. Patience shapes the result. The shelter stands firm and quiet. Confidence settles in. Light moves gently through the doorway. The day unfolds slowly. Nothing interrupts the calm interior. Peace holds steady. The roof and walls work together. Protection feels natural. The house rests within the forest. Harmony remains intact. A final moment of stillness lingers. The journey feels complete. No sound breaks the calm. Silence is comforting. The shelter stands ready for life. Its purpose is clear. Time flows gently onward. Nothing needs attention. The house feels like home. Effort has meaning. The forest and shelter exist together. Balance is complete. A quiet breath fills the space. Calm settles deeply. I have finished building my dream house. I am happy with it.